This is part 3 of a kind of chatty interview series with a very good friend of mine, plant-based nomad Sophie. In the first video, we were explaining our kind of fun story, how we got to know each other. In the second part, Sophie shared her transitioning story, what were her reasons and triggers, and most importantly, she gave us 4 very valuable takeaways for when making lifestyle changes. She's been traveling a lot during the past 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Just traveling all around, like living a nomad life, basically.
Yeah. I go away with just a suitcase. I don't even pack supplies because we went to South Korea, which is much more difficult. I'm here to tell you that it's something that you definitely can manage. And then you know the reality of that is often you're stuck in the rain and you go to a below par tourist place because it's on the trail. We found different Buddhist buffets that are in temples, which is a gorgeous experience anyway. And you can go and explore and experience, and it's a wonderful thing. And where there's a will, there's a way. And you can be creative and you can see it as a game. It's not about closing the doors, it's about opening new ones. We ended up travelling and we went over to Thailand and then to Bali and met some fellow plant-based vegan people who I learned a lot from.
She's been travelling a lot during the past 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Just travelling all around, like living a nomad life, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so if anybody thinks that it's too hard to live this lifestyle when they're travelling on vacation or if they're going away with work or something, I'm here to tell you that it's something that you definitely can manage because I go away with just a suitcase. I don't even pack supplies because we're probably going to be away and they're going to run out anyway. And that there's always ways that you can apply your values to wherever you are, and that's a great experience because there's just so much joy and discovery and the freedom in that.
And she's experienced so many different cultures as well. It's not that it's only the States or Europe, but totally different cultures like Japan and Chiang Mai. And where else have you been?
We've been to Korea as well. Taiwan was really lovely for vegan stuff. There's a big Buddhist influence there in Southeast Asia and East Asia. We went to South Korea, which is much more difficult to eat vegan over there or plant-based.
Was it the most difficult country? Or what do you think?
Yes, it was, yeah. It really was.
It's really meat-oriented? Or?
Yeah, it's really, really meat-oriented. It's just Korean barbecue, sort of everywhere you can turn. The things we could eat would be cold noodle, which is really delicious actually, a noodle in a broth, which is cold naturally. And it's cool in South Korea, you get these scissors to chop up the noodles, which is quite fun and tactile. And it normally comes with an egg, but you can request the egg. And sometimes it comes anyway, but you can just lift it off. Try not to blame yourself. There's also 2 other things that we ate, which are kimbap, which is the Korean version of sushi, which if you go to a place...
Kimbap?
If you go to a place that makes their own kimbap, you can request to just have... It's really delicious, actually, and it's much more variety than sushi, because sushi naturally tends to be based around fish. But kimbap already has burdock and grated carrots and maybe a little bit of tofu and different things inside, pickled things.
What is it wrapped into then? What's the thing that...
It's still the same type of...
the 𝗁𝗍?
The 𝗁𝗍, yeah, thank you. But if you go to a place that makes its own, you can request that it just has the vegan ingredients. So that's something we did very often. And also bibimbap as well, which is a bowl which is normally heated like an earthenware bowl. And it does have a little bit of oil coated on the bowl, and then the rice goes in with some vegetables on top and the really delicious fermented chili sauce they have there. And the great thing is that the rice sort of crackles and hardens at the bottom of the bowl, and then you can move it around and you've got these like popcorn style pieces of rice, which is really delicious. But the problem, and also you have the sides, which are the kimchi, of course, and lots of different fermented veggies, which are all delicious. And every restaurant gives you a cup of broth to have as your drink. However, if you're eating like this for every meal, the salt is crazy. You will start having like salt after effects and headaches and salt hangovers, and it's very intense. So if you can intersperse that with fruit meals or something at home, if you stay in an apartment or something, then all the better. But
so Korea was the place you ate in the most, I assume.
I didn't stay too long in Korea, and we did eat out, but it was kind of tough, so it was maybe half and half. I think if we stayed there more longer term, then I would definitely be cooking at home the majority of my meals, unless I needed to be out and about. For sure, in Asia and East Asia and Southeast Asia, there's a big influence from the Buddhist culture. So if you can find Buddhist restaurants, they will tend to be vegan, and they will tend to try and be cleaner, because for funny reasons that they feel that to focus on the religion, you should cut out stimulants and things like onions and chili. So often they will even take those ingredients out, but it's still very delicious. In Taiwan, we found a lovely, it's a big soup that you cook in the middle of the table, which is very clean, and you could add all your own vegetables in a very clean broth, which was delicious. We found different Buddhist buffets that are in temples, which is a gorgeous experience anyway. So if you can, I think one of my main tips would be to really try and hook into the religious angle, because religions tend to try and make cleaner food, and especially the Eastern religions, which are more based around plants. And when we're travelling on the aeroplane, we actually always request a Jain meal, which is a stricter part of the, I believe the Hindu religion from India.
Jain meal.
Jain, yeah, J-A-I-N. Okay. And we always have that on the plane, and that's completely vegan and always really tasty. Whereas often if you request the vegan version, it's never as good. So that's just another tip for when you're travelling on long haul, that the Jain meal is always really delicious.
So yeah, traveling is no excuse to skip your vegan meals.
No, definitely not.
There is always a way to do it.
There's always a way, and even in Japan, for example, where produce is very expensive, I find it really sad that some of the fruits are kind of off limits if you don't have the money to spend on them. I find it really sad that not everybody has access to all of the fruits. However, you can always afford apples and bananas. You can always have that snack. You can always have some dried fruits and a small bag of nuts or something to keep you going. Where there's a will, there's a way. And you can be creative, and you can see it as a game. And it's discovery, and it's research, and it's using your brain in a different way. You know, when you've carved out your natural route to work or your natural meal that you always have, then it becomes a routine, and you don't need to think about it so much. But when it's a new experience, you can travel into different parts of your brain and start learning. And
yeah, you can take joy in the new experiences you have.
That's
you can
so
discover,
true.
You can learn. You don't have to, do the same things every day you have done for the past 20 years, 10 years, however old you are.
Yeah, that's right. And it opens up your mind, and you realise how resourceful you can be, and you realise how smart you can be, and you feel like you've cheated the system. It's brilliant. And one thing that I always love to do whenever I go to a new place is to experience their market. And in the East, they call it the wet market often. And it's first thing in the morning, and it's all the farmers will come from outside of the city, and they'll bring all of their wares. And then when you're in a different place, to see the different produce is just such a joy for me. Like, it sounds really silly, but I'm passionate about vegetables. Like, I just love the variety that you can get and the beauty of them. And don't be afraid, buy stuff and just experiment with it. Like, even if you don't know what it is, just take it home and try it, Google it, see what you can make, see how it tastes. It's, if you've got some basic knowledge about cooking, you're probably going to be okay.
Some people get excited about jewels. Me too. I get excited about fresh produce or some eco-friendly shops.
Yeah.
This is exciting. Yeah.
It's nature's jewels, isn't it?
So what are your main takeaways when it comes to traveling?
So the first thing I would say really is don't be intimidated. Don't feel like, I've got everything sorted in my normal life. I couldn't possibly leave my life and go somewhere different. It's never going to work. I'm too intimidated. again, it's about trying to flip your perception of things, and it's really about seeing it as an adventure. It's a new learning experience for you. It's an adventure where you can go and discover what this new different country has to offer. And it will always have the peasant foods, it will always have the beautiful seeds, it will always have different beans and types of rice. Wherever you go, there'll always be what you're used to, but their version of. And so that's how you can bring new knowledge into your diet. That's how you can see different dishes and recreate them to your own values. And you can go and explore and experience, and it's a wonderful thing. And I'd just say, just see that as an adventure, not something that's scary. Just really embrace it, embrace the freedom, embrace the joy of just discovery. Just go do it, and just be kind to yourself. Know that sometimes you may make a mistake, but it's okay. Get back on the wagon and carry on. Just see it as a gorgeous adventure. The second thing, which kind of travels on from the first, is that it's very possible to take your values with you wherever you go, and you can apply them wherever you are. So that's something that I've learned. And also that through living in different cultures with different ingredients and different lifestyles, I've taken the values that I've learned from other people and other cultures and applied them to myself. So I've gone through this travelling by building my own set of values, and that's thanks to the different cultures that I've been privileged enough to experience. And so I would say go travelling with an open mind, go with a willing to learn, because there's always something that you can take from somebody else. There's always a lesson to be learned, and that goes with food and techniques and recipes and flavour combinations and all that kind of stuff, as much as it does with more spiritual values or different ethics in the way that you want to live your life. So that's something really lovely that you can take from travelling. That's another huge benefit that I think it's nice to just go with that kind of open mind to accept those things into your life as well. And the third thing I would say is something that we can all do, is just use the resources that are available to us. So both myself and yourself, before we go to a new place, we'll just do a bit of research, which just doesn't have to take long, and it's fun. We'll just go onto 𝗵𝗵𝘁, and what I do is mark onto my calendar different restaurants that I think might be interesting, that we should check out, and then maybe we might stay in an area where that's accessible to us, which I know is something that you guys do as well, which is always makes it a bit more convenient. And I'll sometimes choose the countries I go to based on the fact that they are vegan friendly. So for example, Chiang Mai is like fantastically vegan. I was drawn there because of that. But also different places that you might not expect will often have lots of different options for you. So watch people's videos that have been there before. Go on YouTube. There's so many resources out there nowadays. There's no excuse not to wise up about a place before you go. And it's a fun experience. You can kind of explore the area without even being there. And when you get there, you don't need to waste time. I mean, the way I used to live was just like, oh, we'll try and find something when we get there. We'll just stumble across like a hole in the wall and it will all be great. And then, you know, the reality of that is often you're stuck in the rain and you go to a below par tourist place because it's on the trail. This way it's so much cooler. You can be such a foodie from afar and you can just really be excited about where you're going and just enjoy the best.
Discover different areas and more exciting areas.
Absolutely.
Where the locals go.
Yeah, which we were discussing before. And Ella was saying that it's often a different area, maybe outside of the normal tourist area. Maybe locals go there. It's a bit cooler, hipper, a different cultural experience, and that's also great. You know, doors are being opened to us here. I think you'll see that there's kind of a common thread here, that it's not about closing the doors, it's about opening new ones. Be really open and flip your perception and enjoy the adventure.
Exactly. Travel and discover the world. So traveling is fun, isn't it? And before you go, there's a final part of our chatty interview. It's about families and gatherings, how to deal with your friends. Sophie will share some really kind of strange, funny experiences she has had and how to overcome all kinds of difficulties that might get into your way.
Because I think some people feel affronted by your change of lifestyle.
I mean, you can escape from your friends, but you can't escape from your families.
My mum felt it was very extreme. Like, Like, well, I kill the bacteria in my eye every day. It's no different from killing an animal. Like, and he was like, ha 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 ha, having this laugh to himself. And I was like, what's so funny? And he went, oh, well, there was butter drizzled all over those. No wonder you enjoyed them.